In this go-for-a-punch world in which we live, where we spend our days with SpongeBob SquarePants and our nights strolling London after midnight, you may think you've heard of everything we've yet to find. But there is more unknown in this world than you could possibly imagine. This is lesser-known lost media.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, and this is Volume 9 of Lesser Known Lost Media. If you're new to the channel, don't let the number 9 scare you. These can be watched in any order. The point of this series is not so much to do anything in a consecutive order, but rather to showcase pieces of lost media that you don't see on YouTube all the time. If you watch lost media videos on YouTube, you'll see most creators like to talk about the same things. Clockman, Cracks, Saki-sana Bashi, the uncensored version of Sailor Mouth. And like my channel, the purpose of these ideas is to spread awareness and in some cases even potentially find the pieces of lost media. But while everybody is oversaturating YouTube with all these same pieces of media in hopes that someone will find them, I like to go ahead and do some of the lesser known pieces and think, because hey, they have just as much of a right to be found. Plus, why would I want to do the same things that everyone else is doing? And thus, what has quickly become the most popular series on my channel, Lesser Known Lost Media, was born. If you don't know, lost media is simply media that either is unconfirmed to exist, or we know that it exists, we just don't know where it is and can't find it, and it's not readily available to the public. Or in some cases, we know where it is, but it is not available to the public. So the way this series works is I start with 4 pieces of safe for work media, and then we're going to take a quick ad break. In this case, I'm going to announce our newest 150 subscriber miniature giveaway. That's right, I'm a miniature maker. After which we have one final not safe for work entry. And now that I've explained how this works, let's get into Volume 9 of Lesser Known Lost Media. Our first entry today is the soundtrack for The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, a partially lost film soundtrack from 1984. I'm just going to start this entry by saying that I absolutely love this film. It is definitely a B sci-fi movie from the 80s, a product of its time, and I love it. But if you're unaware, The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension is a 1984 film starring Peter Weller, Jeff Goldblum, Christopher Lloyd, Clancy Brown, and John Lithgow, with the main score composed and performed by Michael Boddicker. The film details the efforts of Dr. Buckaroo Banzai, a physicist, neurosurgeon, test pilot, and musician, to save the world by defeating a band of interdimensional aliens called Red Lectroids from Planet 10. Premiering on August 15th of 1984, Buckaroo Banzai completely crashed at the box office, making less than half of its budget. The film was quickly forgotten, along with other failures such as Rock and Rule, which I don't even know that film, but now I kind of want to see it. There was a slow resurgence in popularity by the mid-1990s, ran by a small majority of fans that still remember the film, along with its soundtrack by Michael Boddicker. Boddicker is well known for his work with Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, and Olivia Newton-John. Though the director had many offers from various labels, it became too late to make a choice by December, as the film had already lost what small publicity it had. The scarcity of the soundtrack became a subject among many die-hard fans, who attempted to create their own bootleg versions. The bootlegs, being old and likely created by those without the best equipment, are extremely low quality. As of this writing, none of the original tracks in the film's score have been released in their entirety, officially or by any leaks. It only exists within the film itself. Currently, the highest quality attempt at a soundtrack is an edit from the audio track to a copy of a 5.1 mixed version of the film. So yeah, this is just a story of a little film that apparently couldn't, but you know, some people do remember it fondly. It is a pretty schlocky B film, but that's what I love about it. And the music is pretty great. I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I will just go ahead and link a video of the end sequence of the film in the description that actually has a fun little instrumental number that I get stuck in my head all the time. But if you've never seen this movie or heard the music from it, I highly recommend giving it a watch. I mean, where else can you watch a film where RoboCop, Mr. Krabs, and Jeff Goldblum dressed as a cowboy team up to defeat interdimensional aliens played by Doc Brown and Lord Farquaad? Like, there are hundreds of B movies that, other than just being somewhat of a small entertaining watch, have nothing interesting to say about them, and yet this film that nobody remembers has an oddly all-star cast, and the music was made by someone who has worked with some of music's greats. So I definitely feel like we deserve a full soundtrack from this film. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. This is a great film, and maybe hopefully someday I can have a copy of the soundtrack in an official form in my collection, and so can you. Up next, we have Overwatch First Strike, which is a partially found, canceled graphic novel from 2016 based on the game from Blizzard Entertainment. So, you've probably heard about Overwatch, one of, the most popular first-person shooter multiplayer games on the market today. And, I played a little of the original one. It's not really my thing, the big, Battle Royale first-person shooter stuff, but people love this game. Doesn't matter if it's my thing, people love this game. And like a lot of people, I was really, really excited for it when it was first coming out, mostly due to the cinematic trailers they put out that painted this huge, bigger story of a world where this group Overwatch had kind of been like a more competent version of Team America World Police, and that they had been, forced to disband, and now they were kind of coming back due to the resurgence of some of these, super-powered terrorists. But despite that initial marketing campaign, Blizzard seems almost unwilling to expand on the actual story of this world that honestly has literally nothing to do and there is no even trace of it in the gameplay. Like, the gameplay is all battle royale. It doesn't matter, whether you're playing as a bad guy or good guy. You're playing with, people on both sides, and during the actual gameplay, there's literally no story to this game. And yet they have all this lore and all this backstory, and they continue even with the new game coming out to make these absolutely amazing cinematic trailers. But they're not. They don't have a cartoon. They don't really let you explore what is, in all honesty, and at a conceptual stage, a really fascinating world. Which brings us to this entry. Overwatch First Strike was a canceled comic based off the successful 2016 game Overwatch. It was supposed to be a 100-page licensed graphic novel made by Dark Horse Comics, written by Mickey Nielsen and illustrated by Ludo Lullaby. The comic was originally planned for a digital release in November of 2016, with a hardcover release sometime in 2017. The comic was supposed to be about Overwatch, the elite international strike team that was assembled to save humanity. It was also supposed to reveal the origins of Jack Morrison, Gabriel Reyes, Anna Amari, Torbjorn Lindholm, and Reinhard Wilhelm, years before the game during the Omnic Crisis. Again, these are things that in the game and in the the promotional material, painted this big world in crisis, and then it has nothing to do with the gameplay. It was oddly not seen at BlizzCon in 2016, November 4th through November 5th, which led people to speculating about its cancellation. These theories were confirmed on November 19th, 2016, when the lead writer at Blizzard, Michael Chu, posted this on the Battle.net forums.
Hey everyone, I wanted to let you know that we have decided to cancel the release of the Overwatch First Strike graphic novel. While we are grateful to the team for the fantastic work they put into it, we've ultimately decided to take the story in a different direction. The original idea for the graphic novel dates back to the early days of the game's development and came from our desire to tell the story of the founding of Overwatch during the Omnic Crisis. In the years since First Strike's conception, we have done a lot of development on the universe and its stories. While the core of this story remains, we have changed and expanded upon how we see the events that took place during the first days of Overwatch. So, for now, the early adventures of Gabriel Reyes, Jack Morrison, Anna Amari, Reinhard Wilhelm, Torbjorn Lindholm, and more, wait for another day. But we know that this is a story that you are excited about, and it's one we still plan to tell. I'd like to thank everyone for the enthusiasm, passion, and support you've shown towards the Overwatch universe. We have a number of stories in development that will delve deeper into the world and its heroes, and we can't wait to share them with you in the coming months, Michael.
So as of November 20th, 2016, 3 pages of the comic have been released to the public with no text. It is unknown if they will be used anywhere or if the rest of the pages will ever be released. So yeah, you have this game that is hugely popular, and the company that made it spent a lot of time, money, and effort building this greater lore around this game and then just honestly not using it anywhere. And the one piece of media that they made that would have, actually told you at least a kind of prequel story to the world this game takes place in, got canceled. And I am of the idea that while this game has certainly been hugely successful, so they've done something right, it is criminally underutilized in the idea of telling a story based on what is honestly a very interesting concept and a series of lore. So who knows? Maybe someday we'll get, they'll release more of this comic. Maybe we'll get a completely different comic, but as of this point, this comic remains lost. Up next, we have K. Lumbo, lost Kmart safety video from the 1990s. The video K. Lumbo, possibly titled K. Lumbo Safety is No Accident, was a Kmart safety video and Columbo parody created circa the early 1990s. If you are unaware, Columbo was a detective show where the titular character was played by actor Peter Falk and basically featured a detective who pretended to kind of be a bumbling idiot, but who was actually incredibly intelligent and always solved the case. Now, according to former Kmart employees, the safety video starred a Peter Falk type actor as a detective named K. Lumbo, K for Kmart as opposed to the traditional C, who investigated the safety protocols of Kmart employees. In 2006, a former employee remembered the video covering shrinkage prevention. So there may have been more than one of these videos. Confirmation that this safety video existed comes from the 2001 court case of Torres v. Kmart Corp., where Part 7 of the lawsuit claimed Kmart did not act in accordance with the safety requirements set forth by Kmart Corporation for wet floors in safety video known as K. Lumbo. And Part 8 stated that Kmart did not act in accordance with safety requirements set forth by Kmart Corporation for wet floors in safety video known as Safety is No Accident. There is a minor contention over if K. Lumbo and Safety is No Accident are one film or two. The court document references the titles interchangeably, however both titles are described as having identical purposes and content. So yeah, there's apparently a fairly well-made, well, I don't know if it's well-made, they don't state that, but there's an interesting idea for a safety video that is just lost. It's even listed in a lawsuit, but nobody has the video itself. Honestly, I have to believe that somewhere in all of the court documents for this lawsuit, if they're going to directly reference this video, there is a copy of it somewhere, but as of right now, no copy is known to exist and no copy is available, and Kmart isn't even a store anymore, so I don't know if we'll ever find this one. Any Columbo or Kmart fans out there, get on the case. Pun intended. At number 4, we have McDonald's Archie dancing advertisement, lost commercial from fast food franchise from the early 1960s. So you've probably heard of McDonald's. You probably know their most famous mascot, Ronald McDonald. You may even know one of their previous mascots, Speedy. I actually just bought a Funko Pop of this guy. But one I was not aware of was Archie. Archie was a McDonald's mascot who appeared throughout the early 1960s for the fast food chain McDonald's. The character would predate other McDonald's mascots like Ronald McDonald by several years. Sometime in the early 1960s, like between 1961 to 1963, Archie would be featured in a commercial where he would be dancing around a McDonald's countertop. This commercial has been confirmed to exist from a plaque at the oldest operating McDonald's in Downey, California. The existence of Archie is documented through a scattered collection of memorabilia from gift bags to pin badges to toys from early proto-Happy Meals. He was introduced as a replacement to the older mascot, Speedy, sometime between 1961 and 1962. A commercial would then be produced featuring the mascot, a first for the fast food chain. So not only is this a piece of missing McDonald's media, this is the first ever McDonald's commercial is missing. Sources are disputed as to the exact year the commercial was reduced. Vlog footage from the aforementioned McDonald's, recorded by YouTuber user Adam the Woo, shows an informational plaque stating circa 1963. The plaque would state that the contents of the commercial had Archie dancing around a McDonald's countertop. Archie would of course go on to be replaced by Ronald McDonald, who first started appearing in TV advertisements in the mid-1960s. By 1965, one source suggests discussions to officially retire Archie were underway. Since then, the supposed commercial featuring Archie has fallen into obscurity and has not been seen since. Now, the Lost Media wiki has a Discord user who messaged McDonald's customer support via email with a McDonald's representative responding to the message.
Thank you for contacting McDonald's and for your interest in one of our commercials. I'm sorry that we're unable to honor your request for a commercial. Every year, McDonald's local and national advertising agencies produce thousands of commercials that are viewed all around the world. Unfortunately, we do not have a video library that contains copies of all McDonald's commercials that were produced. Again, please accept our apologies for not being able to accommodate your request. We hope to have the opportunity to serve you in the future. Giselle, Customer Satisfaction Representative.
And due to this response, it is unlikely that McDonald's still has the commercial in its possession. And honestly, that's very sad. And don't blame McDonald's. There was a time when people really didn't think that there was a need to preserve these things for posterity. They had no idea in 1961 that McDonald's was going to go on to be this massive, international hamburger empire. Things like VHS recording TV from, onto tape didn't exist. People didn't realize that, people weren't going to want to go back and rewatch these TV episodes. TV was kind of a thing that you might tune into and you'll see some commercials or see a show and then you won't watch it again. This is from 60 years ago when the idea that people were going to want to save everything that has ever been on TV just wasn't a concept. So I think, sadly, the only way we will ever find the original McDonald's commercial is if one of the local affiliates that aired it still has a copy somewhere in their archives. And again, considering that at the time, archiving all this footage just wasn't seen as important, and therefore I don't really think that somebody saved a commercial from some random hamburger joint all the way back then. So I would love to one day see this, but I feel like it's unlikely. Alright guys, as stated earlier in the video, this is the point where I would literally stop to end break and take a minute to pitch my business, Chimera Miniatures, but we are announcing our 150 subscribers celebratory giveaway. Now at the time of recording this, we're already up to over 160, so we are well on our way to the next giveaway, which will be at 200 subscribers. Now the rules for this giveaway are the same as the previous giveaways. One, you must be in the United States. At this time, I cannot afford to send things overseas or to other countries, as it is just too expensive at the moment. Still trying to build the channel, still trying to get people to sign up to the Patreon, but hopefully the more this channel grows, the more minis I sell, the more people that subscribe to the Patreon, we will be able to add international fans to the giveaway in the near future. You must be subscribed to the channel, and you must make the comment on this video that I will state here in a second. This video will be going live at 7 a.m. on Wednesday, July 5th, 2023, and you will have till 7 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, July 12th to post the comment and be entered to win the miniature in the giveaway. What is this miniature, you might ask? Well, here it is. Up on the screen, you can see a picture of the miniature you are entering to win. I call him Steven, the multi-armed winged snake demon. Now, to win Steven, the multi-armed winged snake demon, you must post the comment, Steven? ? In the comments. Just so there is no confusion, up on the screen you can see the letters that you are supposed to enter as a comment verbatim, and that will get you an entry into this giveaway. Once entry ends on the 7 a.m. Eastern Time, July 12th, I will look at all of the entries and randomly will select one person to be the winner of Steven, the multi-armed winged snake demon. Again, remember to subscribe and post Steven ? In the comments. And without further ado, let's get to today's final piece of Lost Media. Just a heads up again, this will be the not safe for work piece, so if you do not wish to see it, now is the time to click off this video. Entering not safe for work territory in 3, 2, 1. And our final piece today is Cleopatra, Queen of Sex, partially found English sub and dub of Osamu Tezuka erotic anime film, early 1970s. Cleopatra is a 1970 Japanese anime erotic science fiction thriller film directed by the godfather of anime himself, Osamu Tezuka, known for creating Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion. Little is known about the film's plot to non-Japanese audiences, but according to its IMDb page, it is a semi-pornographic science fiction film where three people from the future are spiritually sent back in time to relive the era of Caesar, Mark Antony, and Cleopatra, where they are most likely to stop a plan in the past made by an enemy in their time that seeks to cause damage in the present. The film had several sex scenes, nudity, and extreme violence are fairly common. Rare at the time in Japan, back when hentai and animated gore were still unpopular, although it is not considered to be a hentai film. I will state that I can confirm this. I looked the film up, I found like an unofficial fan subtitled version, and I mean there's one character, I mean I kind of just skimmed through it, it's definitely has a dated look to it. There is one character who is literally topless in apparently every scene she is in, but it is not what I would consider hentai by at least by today's standards. It's there is violence, there is nudity, but I mean I did not see any overtly pornographic, there's no it's not as explicit. They're not actually showing acts of penetration. It's more akin to just being a sex scene in a live action, a non-pornographic movie than it would be this is a piece of porn. But it is a little weird to see these elements in a cartoon style that is from an era where we really just don't think those kind of films really were around. As for the English translation, when it arrived for a very short period in the US on April 24th of 1972, it received the title of Cleopatra, Queen of Sex, with a self-applied X rating not submitted to the MPAA. Now, please understand that this does not mean it was rated XXX, which is something that the porn industry later kind of gave themselves as ooh, we're better than, we're more hardcore than X. The X rating is just something given to any film that has not submitted itself to the ratings board. Now, they can give the rating of X, or you can just be look, I'm just going to give myself the X rating, which means it won't be shown in most theaters, but it's I'm not going to take the time and pay the money to have this, submitted to the ratings board, which, a Disney movie that doesn't want to submit itself would be given an X rating. Let's say Mary Poppins didn't want to submit itself to the ratings board in this day and age. It would be given an X rating even though it's Mary freaking Poppins, y'all. But, so it's again, it's not saying that this is an overtly pornographic film, just that they didn't see the need to, give themselves over to the ratings board for their judgment. Because even though it is kind of tame by today's standards, a gory, nudity-filled cartoon would definitely have gotten an X rating anyway. The subtitled versions that were released to English-speaking countries are said to be lost and have not been found. However, the Japanese version can still be found on YouTube, awaiting to be subbed most likely by fans. Again, this is the version I found. It is doubtful if it was ever dubbed. However, some references to a dub can be found, but are most likely unconfirmed to be real, or the dub was cancelled due to the film being very unpopular. The non-subbed Japanese version is available to be seen on YouTube and most other websites. As years pass by, they were slowly taken down, and once again put back up or re-uploaded. It is unknown if the reasons behind the removals are some kind of copyright issues or due to the pornographic/nudity sequences, which are against YouTube's terms of use, which is I've been very careful to not have those scenes playing during this segment. However, on June 18th, 2018, a DVD was released featuring Cleopatra, Queen of Sex. The film has not yet been uploaded anywhere, but a trailer from the people releasing the DVD has been uploaded. In 2020, Discotech Media announced a Blu-ray release of the film with English subtitles. So we have since gotten some subtitled versions officially of this movie, but the dub still remains lost if it even existed at all. Now you might be thinking I'm about to go into my normal spiel of it's an old nudie cartoon, who cares, but no, that's not what I'm gonna do. Now, unlike Angel Blade from the last video where I said, hey, this is a series people love and they're always gonna want more content, this I actually think does have some significance in the grand scheme of the history of animation. This movie was made at a time where adult animated films outside of like short porno cartoons in Europe were unheard of. This was the same era where Fritz the Cat was released in America, and it also was like, oh my god, this is a cartoon with nudity and sexual themes. Where are the happy dancing animals? Well, those technically were in Fritz the Cat, but they were happy in a different way. And to me, this feels like this was Tezuka, pushing the boundaries of what animation could be. It didn't just have to be kids' Saturday morning cartoons. It could be made for adults, with adult themes, with non-kid friendly content, because anybody can enjoy cartoons. Cartoons and animation can be used as a medium to tell any story, whether that's a wholesome, family-friendly story or an erotic tale about time travel. And honestly, we may never know if an English dub of this movie exists. I mean, dubs were not always common at the time. Also, they were often poorly done. I mean, there's plenty of jokes about, like, Speed Racer that make this well known. And dubs really didn't start getting professional, time-honored, considerate treatment until like Akira in the 1980s. So yes, while if there is a dub, it is probably bad, it would be interesting to see and hear how an adult-oriented dub of a Japanese cartoon was handled way back in the day. Because whether you are a fan of this kind of content or not, it is always interesting to see how different aspects of a medium, and a type of media were treated in their infancy, in their early stages. Now there's, nudity and gore and, adult themes in all kinds of anime and cartoons is commonplace, and not just, hentai or pornography, the ecchi series, the fan service series. Like, it's pretty par for the course and standard. So to see how that kind of content was handled in the early days, especially when it's brought over to America, who were even less accustomed to this kind of thing than the Japanese audience was, would be very interesting. So this might not exist, but if it does, I hope we find it someday. And that's our video for today, guys. I want to thank you for being here with me today and through all the 9 parts of this series so far. I never thought when I started making this series that this was going to be the series that actually started getting more and more people to start seeing my channel. It was kind of just a project that I wanted to make after watching several lost videos from other content creators myself, but I'm really glad that you all seem to like these videos. I'm going to have to do something special for Volume 10 when that comes out, most likely next week, so I'll look into what I can do for that. But again, just thank you so much for being here with me on the channel. If you would like to support the channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to put your entry in for Steven, the multi-armed winged snake demon. Also, please check out my miniatures on my Etsy, eBay, and Mercari pages. Link can be found in the description, as well as look into joining the Patreon. But most important, be sure to tune back in on our next episode, and just thank you for being here with me on the channel. I do so love making these videos for you, and I love that you are enjoying them as well. So until next time, everybody, this is Chimera Miniatures, I'm Mr. Sean, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!